Well, hello everyone. My name is Mac Atkinson, and along with my sister Janet and our co-host, Dr. Karen Spencer-Dees, we'd like to welcome you all to the September 2016 Sunrider Fusion Network Conference Call. We've got a great call for you planned this month, but before we get started, as usual, I'd like to just remind everybody that none of the information provided in this presentation is intended to represent a diagnosis or cure of any illness or disease. Again, for those of you that don't know, my sister and I maintain a number of things to help our Sunrider organization and Sunriders around the world for that matter. We do these conference calls each month. We host a website. The URL is up on the screen now at www.thefusionnetwork.net. Where we have information on products, our business opportunity, how to really grow in this company. We archive and store all of our past conference calls on the site as well. This last month, we had a chance to go through our 2016 convention highlights, which was a great call. For those of you that might have missed that, if you're interested in hearing about convention and all of the great things we learned and were shared there, please go back on the website, take a look at that, and listen to the call. This month, we're going to focus on staying vital for life with Sunrider. And you know, the products that we're going to focus on and what we're going to talk about this month there are really specific to kind of the mature Sunriders. And I know for myself, having just turned 60 this year, there's a number of products that are very, very important to me. And some of them we'll be talking about today. But again, our focus really is going to be staying vital as we grow older. And as we normally do, I'd kind of like to start off just very briefly talking about the Sunrider difference. And before I do, though, I just want to introduce everybody to our panel and our guest speakers today. Dr. Karen Dees, you're on the call with us as always, yes?
I am. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Richard and Marlene Allen, are you guys with us?
We are here.
We're here. Honored to be part of it.
And certainly last but not least, Maureen Stopfer. Are you with us, Maureen?
Yes, Mac. Thank you.
Oh, fabulous. Glad you were able to be on. Hey, you guys, again, before we start focusing on the products in the real meat of the program today, I just like to, again, remind everybody why Sunrider is such a great choice for folks that are looking at joining a company and establishing their own home-based business. And for me, it really comes down to a number of things, but not the least of which is the fact that Sunrider has been around for over 34 years, so it's an extremely stable company. It operates in over 42 countries around the world, allowing distributors like ourselves that choose to have a true global opportunity. The company is debt-free, which is unheard of in today's economic climate. It handles all of our administration, our accounting, our 24/7 order processing. And most importantly to me, coming out of a manufacturing background before joining Sunrider, is Sunrider internally handles all of the research, development, and manufacturing of over 400 of the world's finest herbal-based foods, cleansing beverages, weight management, sports and fitness, household and natural cosmetics. And what these products are is they're really the fuel that help drive our Sunrider business vehicle. And what makes them so unique is that they're all produced under what we call our philosophy of regeneration, which basically says that if you consume the right whole food nutrients and cleansing beverages, our body won't actually, it'll be more than just being healthy and in balance. It'll actually repair, renew, and regenerate itself naturally. You know, if I can turn to Karen or one of the panelists, actually, whoever wants to jump in, you guys have heard this from me a million times. I'd like for maybe one of us, if you don't mind, somebody talk to people just a couple minutes here about what the philosophy of regeneration is to you. Who wants to take this one?
Maureen, can you take this?
Oh, cool. I'll take it.
Great. Marlene, please jump right in.
Okay. Well, I just have to say that when our sponsor, Karen Dees, introduced us to Sunrider, and she talked about the philosophy of regeneration, and I had never heard about that before, it really got me. I'd never heard anything like this, and I got so excited about it. It was one of the original things that got us interested in using the product immediately. And what I love about it is that it works with the body. And the 4 principles of optimal health, which is the blueprint for every product of Sunrider. First one being nourish, balance, and cleanse. So if you nourish and cleanse your body, then the body has the ability to achieve balance. I love that. And Sunrider has so many products that do help to nourish your body and cleanse your body, such as New Plus and VitaShake, or Cali and Fortune Delight, the Sun Bars. And I love it because there's so many choices and flavors. The second principle is about that these are foods and they're not chemicals. And I really appreciate that fact. So there's really no concern in my mind that we are getting something that's really healthy. And those foods that we're eating with Sunrider, they're very dense nutrition. These are not isolates like you might find in other locations. You might go to a store to pick up something that you think is going to help your body, or even if you're eating regular fruits and vegetables from the market, our foods they are concentrated and it is dense nutrition. And that is one of the keys that really does help us with the regeneration factor for our bodies. I also like the idea that there is a variety. There is no such thing as one food, one herb, one anything out there that is going to give you that optimal health. And Sunrider certainly has a variety of ingredients and a variety of products. Just as in our one product called Quinery, there are over 50 different ingredients in that one product. It's truly amazing. And of course, the last principle about owner expertise and self-manufacturing, as you mentioned, Mac, about the self-manufacturing, we were blown away when we came and saw Sunrider's facilities. And the fact that they do self-manufacture and there is that owner expertise, you know that there's going to be quality from beginning to end. There's going to be control from beginning to end. And that impresses us so much. So we feel a sense of safety, and we really respect what the Chens have done to create these products for all of us.
That's wonderful, Marlene. Thank you so much for jumping in and taking that one for us. Very great explanation. Thank you.
My pleasure.
You know, again, kind of coming back to our topic is on the Vitality for Life. Certainly as we grow older, hormonal imbalances can slow down our metabolism, making it harder to lose weight, impact the quality, the youthfulness of life. And as you just got through talking about, Marlene, Sunrider's all-natural foods and supplements can help balance the hormones in the body and assist us in so many different ways. And I've certainly known myself, you know, talking to people that are, you know, in their 60s or older. I mean, it's really, and I'll only speak for myself here, but it's about quality of life and having enough energy to go out and enjoy things, maintaining a lifestyle that we're used to. I mean, being in the dojo 5 days a week and you know, instructing and doing classes and being physically active and vibrant in life certainly is important to me going forward, as I know it is to all of you too. And I guess, you know, let's just move right into some of this stuff. Veros, the first product. Dr. Dees, as I will do for each of these, I'd like to turn to you first with each of these products so you can explain to us from a nutritionalist standpoint what these products mean to you and why we should be consuming them, and then we'll share some testimonies.
Sure, I think that would be wonderful. So again, I want to remind everybody that these are foods. As Mac is talking about and Marlene is talking about, this is not medicine. And these are not in place of hormones, nor are these hormones. These are foods that actually feed our endocrine system. And your endocrine system is one of your 5 major systems that Marlene was just talking about in relation to Quinery. So remember, we have our digestive system, right? Circulatory system, our immune system, our respiratory system, and what we call our endocrine system, or in the Chinese element would be the fire. And this is all of our organs that pertain to our hormones, and that can be for both men and women. And also remember, this is also our adrenal glands. So for those of you that are wondering how would this fit into your life, I want you all to remember that the endocrine system regulates the hormones that regulate our moods, our weight, it regulates our endurance, it regulates our fertility or infertility, our hormones are a key link to everything in our body, and we need to keep them stable. And so for women, we have estrogen and progesterone, a little bit of testosterone, and men, we always talk about testosterone. And so if in these organs, whether it's the prostate or the ovaries or the uterus, if there is an imbalance, we want to feed these organs the same way we would if we were feeding our heart or our lungs or our liver. We want to feed them, and that's what Sunrider does. And this first product, which is Veros, is designed specifically for men to feed your endocrine system. And so if we're talking about everything that makes up your endurance, your energy, your physical energy, stamina, your sexual energy, your fertility, that's what Veros is about. And so what Sunrider specifically writes is that it's an all-natural, super concentrated herbal formula that helps to increase the blood flow. And remember, we're talking the blood flow to the heart and the prostate for stronger muscles, more energy, an increase in sexual desire, and an improvement in sexual performance. And again, that is part of the endocrine system. And unlike other products out there that are full of synthetic chemicals, Veros is very natural and very effective. And you will see it'll say no added hormones or stimulants. So you feel energized, confident, and ready to take on the day. So hormones are very important. And for men, as you get older, you have a decrease in testosterone. This is not a testosterone replacement. This is a food combination that goes in and builds up that entire endocrine system. So naturally occurring testosterone will increase. So you will feel more like yourself. Your muscle definition will be toner. Your brain, you'll feel that you don't have as much of a brain fog, and you will find that for those of you that are having issues with your prostate, that this is important to keep that part of your body very healthy. Now, I will also say in terms of Veros that there are plenty of women who are going through menopause that need a little bit of testosterone that also can add Veros in and helps to balance out their hormones. So for those of us, even Matt, for those of us that, and I say this to all of my customers, my patients, clients, and distributors, that from age 40 on, this is an important product for all men. All men, because that's the time period where women and men start to transition into male and female menopause. And as someone who is kind of in that middle group myself and my husband, I know that these products make a huge difference in our bodies, but also in, I know that Richard can talk to Veros as a man, as someone who's using the product, and how it feels in his own body. Richard?
Hi, Kara. Yeah, I feel, and it's interesting because we had a conversation the other day with friends, and then somebody said, "Well, I can't do what I did when I was 20, and why should I expect to?" And I said, "Yeah, I do more now than I did when I was 20, because the Veros gives me the strong heart, the strong, it just." Between that and all the other Sunrider products that I use, I just feel more vital, more alive, more energized, and even more enthusiastic about things than most people my age. And I'm now, Mac, out of the 60-year-old group, okay? And 3.5 hours of tennis or a 35-mile bike ride, to me, I never did that when I was 20. But I do it now.
That's fantastic. And you attribute a lot of this to the energy that you feel from the Veros, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah. It's funny, Richard, hearing you say that and share that story, because I felt the same way. I was active in my 20s too, but when I look at what I'm doing today compared to earlier in life, I'm like you. I'm more active now than I ever was, and Veros is something that I incorporated into my daily Sunrider regime, if you will, a few years ago. I matched up with sports caps usually, but as I mentioned before, I'm in my dojo 5 out of 7 days a week.
Wow.
I'm into hiking, I'm into skiing, I go into the gym. We have contests in the dojo about push-ups, and, you know, we'll do 100 push-ups in a class, you know, and I can do that kind of thing and compete with a lot of the younger men that are in there and actually laugh at them because they're laying on the ground. And what I find from it, it not only increases my endurance levels, but it also helps us to shorten the recovery time in terms of sore muscles and feeling better afterwards. I know it helps in terms of my circulation and my bone strength and even the skin tone. You know, you can just see it in your body. And certainly that added benefit of a healthy libido doesn't hurt anything at all either. So, again, this is a product that I've been using for some time. I know you have too. And again, men out there, as Karen, you said it, over 40 years of old, this is something they should consider.
Terrific.
Very good.
Can I, Karen?
Yeah, please.
I just wanted to add, just from a woman's point of view, because I also started to take the Veros, because a lot of women might not think about that for themselves. But when I read about how it helps in performance and endurance from an exercise point of view, I started to take the Veros every morning before I go out for my walk, and it's very hot down here, and you can get very lethargic, and I find that really helps me as well from a woman's point of view.
Oh, terrific. That's great. That's great. You know, before we move on to Bella, I just wanted to share with everybody that I'm kind of an ingredient guy. You know, I like to look at what's on the back of the bottle and do my own little research on some of the herbs that Dr. Chen uses in his formulations. And I don't want to go into any detail with this, but for those of you that are like me and you look these things up, what you're going to find is an interesting combination of herbs, flowers, plants, etc., and all of these products and these foods that Chen's put together for us. But as you look at some of the benefits of these things, you'll see why he chose these certain herbs specifically for these formulas. And, you know, just a couple of them in Veros: expanding the coronary artery, increasing the coronary blood flow, anti-inflammatory, antibacteria, benefits to the liver, the kidney, etc. Just some, again, going back to Marlene, what you talked about on that owner expertise and formulation, that fourth principle under the philosophy. Man, you start looking at some of the ingredients of these things and you can see the mastery behind Chen and what he's really created for us. So enough said on that. Moving on to Bella. Karen, may I turn back to you to lead us into this one?
Sure. So again, just like Veros, we were just talking about for the men, Bella is the combination that's used for women over 40 who are transitioning into menopause. And as someone who, when I was working on my dissertation, spent a lot of time on women and early menopause, and the actual symptoms and experiences that we go through, this is a product that pretty much saves the day. And Bella, again, is not estrogen or progesterone. It is not a hormone. It is actually the right combination of whole foods that feed a woman's endocrine system that helps our own bodies naturally increase what we need to increase in our adrenal glands and in our endocrine system, whether it's estrogen or progesterone on our own, to help balance us out. Because the transition of menopause can actually cause for you to look like you're aging much faster, decrease in energy, certainly weight gain, certainly mood swings. We all certainly know hair loss. I mean, there's a plethora of symptoms. And what Sunrider writes, which was so lovely, and I love that they did this, is that it was inspired by the Latin word for beautiful. And I minored in Latin many years ago. And so I was thrilled to see this, that Bella, it features an exclusive blend of herbs and plants that work in unison with the body's natural processes to balance energy and promote feelings of serenity and calm, which is the focus for women of all ages. It's highly concentrated, it's all natural, and again, no added hormones. Dr. Chen primarily developed Bella to help women transition smoothly through the changes associated with menopause. But his unique formula also, and this is important, benefits women at all stages of life. As I talked to you earlier, Bella nourishes the skin from the inside, helping to soften the appearance of its texture and bring out a youthful glow. It promotes better sleep with its calming property, and it assists the body's natural ability, which is so important, to absorb calcium, which is an important benefit for women of all ages so we do not get porous bones and have an increase in osteoporosis. And so as someone who uses it and also as someone who has shared it with many, many, many women of all ages, I will tell you that symptomatically, if you find that you are imbalanced or needing some extra love and attention in your endocrine system and your hormones, Bella is effective for all of us of all ages, but especially women over 40. But I will say as a doctor in this field that for women who have any imbalances post-pregnancy or things like endometriosis or pelvic inflammatory or anything where you're finding your endocrine system imbalanced, this is wonderful to help regulate those imbalances, and that's coming from me. So I'd like to open it up. Maureen, would you like to talk how you're using Bella and what it's done for you?
Yes, Karen, pre-Bella, I was, as many women were, on hormone replacement that I did not feel was good for me or working for me. And once Sunrider introduced Bella, I just thought, I'm here, it's working, it's fabulous. I keep Bella next to my bed, and the first thing in the morning, I take one Bella, and before I even start my day. And then I take another one at lunch and another one late afternoon, and then maybe one at night. Or sometimes I just do morning, afternoon, and night, depending on how I'm feeling that day. So it's either 3 or 4 for me during the course of 24 hours. The other day, I was having my teeth cleaned, and the hygienist said to me, I'm on hormone replacement, and I don't like it. It's not working for me. She said, I'm looking at my skin, and now I'm looking at you sitting in the chair. She said, you still have the fatty tissue on your cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of looked at her like, what? And she said, most women I see, whether they're going through menopause or postmenopausal, they have that dry look, that sort of sunken in cheek look. And she said, it must be the Bella, it must be your Sunrider. And I said, well, it is nourishing the skin from the inside, and I guess it really is softening the appearance and the texture and that youthful glow. And that's the huge difference. So looking healthy, it's expressed. The foods that are nourishing the system is really expressed and shows in the skin. So I thought that was lovely, and I kind of really felt good.
That's wonderful.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Marlene, did you have any comments on Bella before we move on?
I love Bella also for all the same reasons, and I'm also like you. I like to look up different ingredients and products. And I know one of the ingredients in that is Dong Quai, and we also have Dong Quai as an individual product. But I love what it says in the Earl Mandel's Herb Bible about Dong Quai, which is it's an overall tonic for female reproductive system, regulates menstrual regularity, reduces PMS, relieves symptoms of menopause. And then these were interesting to me. It helps to prevent anemia and reduces high blood pressure. So those were extra things, in addition to the fact that it has vitamins and minerals, including A, B12, and E. So I find that, as you were saying earlier, when you even take a little look at some of the ingredients that are in these products, they just do so much for our bodies. And that is definitely one of my daily products as well.
Excellent. Well, I will say that I don't use Bella myself, but it was a lifesaver around my household. There was a period of years where my two favorite products from Sunrider were Bella and Beauty Pearl, because I had 2 daughters going through puberty and a wife going through menopause, and without those 2 products, Not sure I'd be here to talk with you all today, and that's the end of my testimony on that one. Moving right along. Dr. D's Prime Again, which is one of the products that makes up the Quinary, which you were speaking about a few minutes ago. Would you kind of talk to us just a little bit about Prime Again and why this product has a fit with our topic for this month?
Sure. So again, Prime Again is a very important product because it is part of what we call our quinary, which is the balance. And the balance in your body, as we talked about earlier, of your 5 major systems, digestion, circulation, immune, respiratory, and again, your endocrine system. Prime Again feeds the entire endocrine system for everybody at all ages, all the time. And every single day, we face stress. And our endocrine system bears the result of it. So we find ourselves either feeling highly emotional, we find ourselves feeling grief, anger, right? Happiness, joy, and sometimes we feel that they are a little bit extreme because that system is overworking itself. And so by feeding this Prime Again, feeding this entire system, what I always say is that's that rubber band of life, where if you stretch it just too far and too much, it will snap or become frayed. And that's when we talk about my nerves are just feeling frayed. Prime Again feeds the entire what we call nerve balance, and it helps regulate these hormones so they stay in balance for everybody, boys, girls, men, women of all ages. So we think clearer, we're calmer, we're focused, we have more endurance, we're more productive. And also, I think one of the other important pieces is when I talk about these adrenal glands, remember that your adrenal glands really regulate your level of energy. And so if you're feeling exhausted all the time, adding Prime Again in helps with that fatigued feeling. That's an extreme exhausted endocrine system. And then the last piece to it is we're made up, right? We're made up of all different organs in our body that all need food. And in Dr. Chen's brilliance, he knew to put the right combination of the right ingredients to feed all the organs of the endocrine system so that, as Dr. Chen once said, so the fire doesn't go out in your body, and the fire doesn't burn too high in your body. It stays the right temperature so that you feel your best all the time. And so for all of you who are using Quinary, congratulations. You've got Prime Again in your system. Anybody using it on its own that's on this call tonight, or extra of it?
Karen?
Yes, Richard.
Hi. I used to suffer from severe allergies, and when I would get home from my sister-in-law's who has pets, sometimes my eyes would be itchy, and I would just either take the capsules or open them up in some warm water, maybe 4 capsules, and literally within minutes, the symptoms would just go away.
That's fantastic. So again, a lot of times a lot of people have found that are using Sunrider that by adding Prime Again with their Quinary, they see a decrease in their allergies, that it also helps with an allergic reaction, and that's terrific.
Absolutely. You know, I'd like to jump in quickly on this one, too, before we move on. And, you know, I've been a Quinary person forever, as you know, Karen, and we do keep the individual components of Quinary on the shelf as well, and Prime Again is certainly one of them. And I'm going to come just back to the ingredients again for a second that Marlene and I have kind of been going back and forth on here. But one of the things in Prime Again is Chinese yam, and just to give folks an example, some of the benefits of this one particular piece of the formulation is strengthening the spleen and the stomach to aid digestion, nourishing the kidneys, increasing sperm count. Something which Richard was just talking about is benefiting the lungs, stopping coughing, enriching the lung yin, if you will, you know, and the chi associated with the lung. Lowering blood sugars, promoting longevity, soothing mood, and regulating sleep. I mean, again, when you get into the detail of what some of these individual pieces to these formulations really do, you can see the true brilliance of Dr. Chen and what he's been able to put together for us with this stuff. Any other last comments on Prime again before we move on? Going once, going twice. Here we go, men's formula. Dr. D, back to you if I may.
Sure. Okay, so as we're moving forward with all of these amazing products that are helping with our hormonal system, our endocrine system, we move on to Dr. Chen's men's formula. So I think this is equally as important as Veros is for men. This has a real place for men, and I just want to read you what Sunrider says about it, and that is, good prostate health is an integral part of every man's overall well-being. And Dr. Chen's men's formula supplement addresses this need, especially in men over 40. The complex formula contains a unique proprietary blend of saw palmetto, which I know a lot of you have used before, fatty acids and other herbs, as well as antioxidants such as lutein and lycopene, which for those of you that want to know are also found in tomatoes, that are specially combined for maximum effectiveness. Dr. Chen's men's formula helps maintain a healthy prostate in middle-aged men. This is owner expertise, right? This formula is manufactured under strict quality control at Sunrider's own state-of-the-art facilities, and that's important. So one of the keys, I think, to recognizing why would someone want to use men's formula. As men age, you recognize that there's a frequent, I guess, urination, that you find yourself going to the bathroom a lot, needing, getting up at night frequently, wondering if there's anything you can do to help that, wanting to keep the prostate gland healthy, keep the PSA number proper. This is that product that helps you keep that part of your system in place. And I know that many of my clients have said to me, this product changed and saved me because I was getting no sleep, because I was up all night running to the bathroom. And I think that that's important that we're looking at, as Mac talked about earlier, quality of life. And so as we talk about Bella and we talk about Prime again and we even talk about Veros, we're really talking about how to improve the quality of life so that if you are a man that's over 40, you know that this is definitely a product that can prevent and protect you. So any time that you can do some prevention, or you can use something that's food-based to help regulate a system and feed you, that's the way to go before you have actually an issue. And I'm going to, of course, send this back to Mac right now and Richard and ask, are either of you using this? How are you using it, and what are your results?
Well, Richard, why don't you jump in first on this one?
Okay. I use this religiously, and as I stated earlier, I'm 70 years old, and it's just a natural progression at my age to basically have prostate, I wouldn't even say problems, more or less just issues. And I do a lot of bicycle riding, which also contributes to that. But my numbers are very steady. And whenever I go to see my doctor up at the VA hospital, he says, you know, we're just going to watch. And they've been just watching now for the past 10 or 15 years. So to me, that's a good thing. And I attribute that solely to the Sunrider product, the Veros and the men's formula.
Right on. That great testimony, Richard. You know, it's interesting when you look statistically at poor prostate health in men as they reach 40 and then older. It's staggering, the numbers. And, you know, for me, I haven't had an issue, but one of the reasons I think that I can attribute to that is for the last couple of years, I've started using men's formula. It's something I will continue to use through the rest of my life. And knocking on wood, praying here that I never develop any problems, but this is one of the foods I can consume that will help keep me healthy, and that's the results that you're seeing too. So again, any man that's over 40 would recommend this product too, especially if they've had any issues in terms of their prostate health. So fair enough.
Terrific.
Last comments, Karen, on this one, or should we move on?
I think we can move on.
Perfect. The last product I'd like to talk about, which we've touched on a little bit already in terms of being a portion of the formula that makes up our Bella, is the individual herb here, Dong Quai. And Karen, again, I'm not sure how much more we can say about this. I mean, Marlene, I believe it was, read a great thing about Dong Quai and what it was all about, but is there anything more you would offer on this one?
What I would offer with Dong Quai is that it also helps for younger women. So this is not just about as we get older. This is really about regulating the hormones. So whether it will reduce PMS symptoms, it will also relieve a lot of the symptoms, as Marlene was talking about, of menopause. So you can see the balance. Whether you're a teenager that's having symptomatic with PMS, if you are someone that used the birth control pill for a long time and are regulating your cycle again, Dong Quai is amazing to help regulate that cycle. Marlene is absolutely correct. It does help with blood pressure, and it does help with the regularity of the entire menstrual system. So I think that what we're really talking about with Dong Quai is that it does have a positive effect on the glands that do produce the female hormones, so it does decrease, it is true, the symptoms of severity of PMS, bloating, mood swings, the abdominal cramps. So this just is not about, I want everyone to know, menopause. This is about women of all ages that have positive results from Dong Quai. And personally, as someone who began using Sunrider when I was 20, and had hormone imbalances, I used Dong Quai and had such amazing, wonderful relief with my menstrual cycle with the Dong Quai, so I highly endorse it. So again, we have products which I'm so excited about for men and women of all ages to help with an important system, the endocrine system, and I think that this is what absolutely will keep you vital. I think that's the right word, vitality. That is what the endocrine system and the fire is about for your entire life. Mac?
Right. Thank you so much, Karen. Very, very good. You know, that kind of leads us to the point of our call where we again, love sharing the information about the products. It's our passion, you can tell, I'm sure. And one of the reasons that we are so passionate about is that we get to help other people as well. And I guess this is the point of the call where I just want to remind everybody, please, let's go out and share. Let's not keep this a secret to ourselves. Let's go out and share with other people. Listen to their needs. Find out how we can be of help to them, be it with their health, their vitality, their financial, etc. And really show them how to switch the brands, how easy it is to switch the brand using the same money they're spending in the supermarket and the drugstores, etc., to these foods that really allow our bodies to go out and do the things that they're supposed to be doing naturally. With that, I'd like to kind of share a little bit, if I can, too, about some of the great resources that Sunrider continues to provide us. One of the things that came out of convention this year was a real renewed focus to going out there and building our businesses, changing the mindset, if you will. And a consultant that the company has recently hired, a gentleman named Craig Holliday, who's been very successful in this industry, million-dollar earner, been involved in a variety of companies, now as a consultant to Sunrider, has put together basically 8 steps of YouTube training for us, talking about everything from prospecting and inviting, the power of sitting down and talking to people, how we follow up and overcome objections, how to start a new IBO off effectively if they're getting going in our business. Working, which is something that I've talked about for a long time, working and developing in depth, not only within your organization. Really keeping our mindset in focus, how to share and switch brands, and then promoting the events, which become so important as we begin to build our Sunrider businesses. And, you know, there's a number of other things, too. The company's come out with these weekly insights, which, again, are kind of the point across segments again, things in terms of how to build your list, longevity and legacy, being productive versus just being busy. A number of things to kind of help us each week in terms of staying on track. And one of the things that was most impressive to me coming out of convention is this idea of these 90-day game plan programs and taking action. And you know, it reminds me, I saw a slide recently of something I had seen before, but it was basically a quote from one of my favorite boxers, Muhammad Ali. And I'll do my best Muhammad Ali voice here, but it was basically, if my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, then I can achieve it. So again, folks, my mind can conceive it, my heart can believe it, then I can achieve it. And you know, there's 3 months left in 2016, and I would ask you all, if you do nothing between now and then, will you be satisfied at the end of the year? And when I looked at this 90-day game plan, it's something that I've kind of jumped into. Karen, I know you and Marlene, Richard, and Maureen, you've all been participating too. But what I really saw was, again, it's a way to help us become more professional in what we do. Self-improvement, reading and becoming better educated, setting realistic and obtainable goals, training on sharing the Sunrider opportunity and products from our heart and with passion, making the commitment to engage in our business, sharing and sponsoring new people into our organizations, being accountable to ourselves and our mentors on our progress, and again, back to this idea of taking action. And again, folks, I don't want to overdo that. I mean, the taking action could be in anything from discovering ourselves, that reading and self-improvement we were talking about. Maybe it's in overcoming past challenges. I mean, what are the things that are holding me back from being successful in my Sunrider business, identifying those and addressing them so I can move forward. It could be taking action in terms of relationships with our Sunrider teams. I mean, Karen, you and I both have large organizations. I mean, are we communicating? Are we inspiring them to grow and to reach their goals and dreams? And creating your action plan. And, you know, again, as I look at it, it's owning your own life. I mean, what am I most happy about? What am I most grateful for? What am I most proud of? It's controlling my beliefs, my time, and my attitude. And, you know, again, the attitude we bring to the table every day, it multiplies everything, our strengths, our gifts, our skills, our efforts, our character. I mean, all of those are amplified by the attitude that we bring, which again, takes me right back to Muhammad Ali, and I love it. I'm going to repeat it one more time. If my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, then I know I can achieve it. So, again, Karen, would you mind, sharing, I know that you and some of your team are involved in this 90-day program. What kind of actions are you taking? What kind of success are you beginning to see? Take a minute and kind of walk us through what you're doing with it.
Sure, and I will say that this has been really exciting because this has really been about putting everybody's visions and everyone's hopes into action, and a different kind of action, which has been that they're seeing small successes every single day and doing a lot of the things that maybe we hesitated to do in the past, getting out and really sharing, taking risks, putting the fear aside and seeing the dream bigger than the fear in and of itself, and stepping out into the world. And I'm going to actually put this to Maureen and to Marlene and to Richard, who are all doing amazing things in these past 30 to 60 days. And how have you all been applying this, and what do you think you're gaining from this? Because it's been amazing to be a part of.
Karen, it's Maureen.
Hi.
I think, Mac, one of the words you used that struck me was in your beautiful description of the 90-day plan is renewal. And for me, it has been a renewal. It has been a sense of being able to have a daily focus. Sometimes we are doing and going and building, and we're not really looking at the daily successes that we're having. So I think from that, I was able to gain how I then can turn for a new IBO and show them immediately how fast they can move their business along. And daily approach is really something that we learn quickly and build quickly from that. I love that we have read the books, Go Pro, Wired That Way, and People Follow You. This is all really, really contributing to building the business, building the person. I have a new IBO, an 18-year-old who is a competitive tennis player, who in the last year has seen herself with the Sunrider foods go from degeneration to regeneration. And she is very excited to take Sunrider along as a business as she goes off to college and builds her business that way. So this has been something that has been tangible for us, that has been real. She said to me the other day, I love talking about Sunrider because it's truth. And I thought that's really a very powerful word. And if you, as a new IBO and 18 years old, if you have that in your heart and you understand this is something that you can impart to others, and it's a very simple, simple process. And just putting someone in the computer and being with them and showing them how they can have their success with Sunrider. So it's been a reminder, it's been a renewal for me, and I'm really making very, very good progress. My numbers are up. It's very exciting. I love it.
That's great. That's great. Richard, Marlene?
Go ahead, boss. You talk.
I didn't know who was going first. Well, you know, Richard and I have been with Sunrider for almost 30 years. And what I learned is that we've always tried to be great mentors, but you also have to be great students, and we have to be teachable. And to really be clear and real with yourself, to see what you've been doing, how you can tweak it. And I think this program has really helped us to see that. And we feel like we're learning new things. We are being more clear about our activities and how we approach people and how we do presentations. And we've been doing this for many years, but there's always something new to learn. And that accountability, as you were mentioning, Mac, you know, to ourselves and to others, has really helped us, I think, step up our game as well. Yeah. Go ahead, Rich.
Well, I noticed that since we've been reading the books that Maureen has mentioned and keeping better track of our activities, we've become a lot more productive. And it's a lot easier, too. You know, I know a lot of people, when they start off, they're nervous, they don't know what to do, what to say. But through this program and through these books, it's become very clear and very easy just to learn how to listen and ask questions and be able to meet the needs of these people, because it's not about what we're doing for ourselves, but what we're doing for them that's actually going to add to our growth and our legacy. Because the legacy is not what have you done for yourself, but how many people have you helped along the way.
Yeah, absolutely, Richard. And you know, right on. It's been a lot the same way with me. And just to share with everybody, I mean, we're working with a number of groups around the world with this program, and everyone is pretty much saying the same thing in terms of their feedback. It's a renewed aspect towards their business. It's been great reminders on things that we've trained with in the past, but have either been forgotten or have evolved into something different. And you guys mentioned a couple of things that I just want to touch on too, and that is the accountability. And I've certainly noticed that for myself, even if it's to myself, but putting these things down on paper. Making it a daily habit to go out and prospect, which is not an option. I mean, if you want to build your Sunrider business, you have to go out there and talk to people. And Richard, you're absolutely right. I mean, something that we've trained forever is it's never been about us. It's always about the need of the other individual, which keeps us in integrity when we're speaking with them in the first place. So it's developing those listening skills. It's then approaching them, you know, what do you want to do? Do you have a way to accomplish it? And if I can show you a way, would you be willing to give me 30 minutes where we can sit down and talk? I mean, it doesn't have to be any more complicated than that in terms of the approach and the conversation, but it all goes back to listening to what their need is all about. So again, right on. And you know, I just like to kind of finish that with, again, something that Craig had talked about, and that is, you know, this daily activity and being alert to life. I mean, alert to the people that are out there in front of us. And Craig used a statistic which I thought was pretty relevant to all of this in one of his presentations a week or so ago, where he said he had read that 50% of people wake up every day praying for an opportunity to change their lives. And if you just think about that for a second, that's every other person that we run into in our day-to-day activities out there woke up in the morning looking for some opportunity that would help them change their lives. If we would just be brave enough to go out there and talk to them and engage in conversation and listen for just a couple of minutes and ask some questions about what their life is all about, we could potentially be that solution to help them get their life back on track. So again, folks, enough of this now. We'll be talking more about the game plan. We'll be talking about some of these principles that were on the previous screen in terms of prospecting and follow-up and all that kind of stuff here in months to come. But I am just very excited for all of you that are on this program. So happy, Richard, Marlene, Karen, Maureen, to hear some of the results that you guys are having with this. And again, I just want to encourage everybody out there, if you're currently not working with your mentor, your sponsor, or one of the folks from the company on these 90-day game plans, and you would like to look at it, please be in touch with us, be in touch with your sponsor, and we'll certainly help you to get there. So folks, with that said, again, Dr. Dees, thank you so much. Richard, Marlene, Maureen, can't thank you guys enough for participating and sharing the way you have on the call this month. And until October, want to wish you all a great what's left of September, and go out there and take some action. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.